What are the greatest Conqueror Haki moments in One Piece? We've already done 2 other videos ranking the epic, topmost, greatest Conqueror Haki moments in One Piece, but now that Egghead arc is finally over and Elbaf is already in full gear, I'd say it's about time we do a follow-up video and update the list. Yep, this video is also going to include the Conqueror Haki moments from Egghead, and there will also be a couple of downright orgasmic spoilers from the manga. Get your snacks and drinks ready, guys! These are the top 10 greatest Conqueror Haki moments in One Piece. But before we continue, how about giving the video a like and also subscribing to the channel? Here at AJ Anime, we make quick yet in-depth videos on all things anime, so if that's your thing, you're going to have a fantastic time with us. Now, starting with number 10, we have Rayleigh arriving at Amazon Lily. Blackbeard had Boa's life in his hands, but just as he is about to use his darkness to quite literally take her life, someone appears who flips the situation on its head in a mere instance. It's the Dark King, Silver's Rayleigh. He walks in on the scene while flashing his Supreme King Wi-Fi Haki all over the place in all its naked glory. All the fodder start collapsing on the ground, and even Blackbeard himself starts sweating. Just by walking in on the scene with his Conqueror's Haki, Rayleigh flips the situation on its head. Everything is resolved, and both the Blackbeard pirates and the Marines get their asses off the island. Moving on to number 9, we got ourselves a massive manga spoiler, so if you have not read the manga, I'd recommend fast-forwarding to the next moment. The Conqueror Haki moment in question is from chapter 1111. After the Giants arrive at Egghead to help out the Straw Hats, Saturn and Warcury are pissed. Luffy tells them that they need to get the hell away from the island, and Dory follows through by using a horn to alert all the Giants that it's time to leave. However, Warcury wasn't having it. He declares that it's time to use a horn of his own, and unleashes a Conqueror's Haki blast strong enough to strip off Gear 5 Luffy's eyes, hat, shoes, cuffs, heck. This Conqueror's Haki blast is strong enough to even strip off Luffy's scar. It is diabolical. I mean, it literally shakes the island's very core. The Haki is felt all over the island and beyond. The Marines stationed at the shore also begin to pass out. Guys, with the recruitment of Garland Garling in chapter 1125, it is now obvious that the Elders are basically strong celestial dragons that got promoted to their current status sometime during the past 800 years. In simpler words, Saturn, Zoro, Mars, Jupiter, and Warcury are among the strongest celestial dragons of the past 800 years. No wonder they have Conqueror's Haki, and no wonder it's this strong. I'm absolutely 100% sure that Garland Garling also has Conqueror's Haki, and you bet his Haki is going to be even stronger than Warcury's Haki. Now, at number 8, we have the time when Zoro finally uses his Conqueror's Haki consciously. We're talking about that orgasmic scene from episode 1060, where Zoro comes to the realization that he should allow Enma to drain his Haki. He lets it all flow naturally and stops caring about trying to control his Haki. This, in turn, unleashes Zoro's Conqueror's Haki all over the floor, and as expected, the Fodder Beast pirates start collapsing. While Warcury's Haki was more about a moment of overwhelming shock, Zoro conquering Enma is a historic moment, because this is where he becomes aware of his color of the Supreme King. He gets asked by King if he wants to be a king, and Zoro affirms. He declares that he has a promise to keep to his captain and to his best friend. The 7th moment on our list is a moment in One Piece that truly introduces us to that next level of Conqueror Haki mastery. In episode 1082, after Momo successfully manages to breathe fire at Greenbull, the Admiral is forced back to his human form. He begins transforming again and braces himself to skewer Momo from mouth to tail. However, right as Greenbull is in the middle of transforming again, he is hit by a powerful wave of 5G Conqueror's Haki roaming that immediately reverts him back to his base state. It doesn't take long before Greenbull realizes that it's the Red Hair Pirates. We see Shanks' ship. All the new guys have collapsed because of the Conqueror's Haki, and as for Shanks himself, he is mad. He glares deep into Greenbull's soul all the way from the sea and asks the Admiral if they are that afraid of the new era. Greenbull is left with no choice but to leave the island. It wasn't even a confrontation, it was just Shanks telling the green guy to leave as politely as possible. Up next, at number 6, we're going back to something special. When Ace is about to be executed and Whitebeard is held back by his own wounds, Luffy screams from the depths of his soul just as his mind and body unconsciously use Conqueror's Haki. The executioners faint, and all the top tiers react to Luffy's Conqueror's Haki. It's a legendary moment, and although this isn't actually the first time he uses Conqueror's Haki, this is still the greatest pre-time skip Haki moment. And let me remind you that this is the only time we see Conqueror's Haki in that legendary arc. Alright, we're halfway through the list, and now it's time to talk about the top 5 greatest Conqueror Haki moments. 4 of them have already been animated, but the 5th one is a manga spoiler, and I promise you, it's the kind of spoiler that is special even by One Piece standards. Anyways, continuing with the list, we have Garp's Galaxy Impact at number 5. Garp launches his ship into the air with the force of his fist and then proceeds to unleash an overwhelmingly devastating advanced Conqueror's Haki-infused punch that shatters our conception of brute strength. He calls it Galaxy Impact, and the anime made it look like a nuke in and of itself. We have to keep in mind that this was just an advanced Conqueror's Haki-coated punch, and yet it was able to completely devastate everything in that area. Heck, it didn't even look as though Garp put any effort behind it at all. It was just a casual punch, and look at the damage it did. But to be real with you, I won't put Galaxy Impact over Divine Departure. Yes, exactly. At number 4, we have something that happens just a chapter before Garp's legendary Galaxy Impact. Now, why are we putting Shanks' Divine Departure over Garp's Galaxy Impact? It's because Shanks' attack had a definitive victim. Unlike all the other Conqueror Haki moments on this list up till now, Shanks neutralized a genuine threat in an instance. He took out a pirate worth 3 billion before the battle even began. He started by infusing his sword Griffin with advanced Conqueror's Haki, and then finished off Kid and Killer while also neutralizing Kid's damned punk at the same time. He destroyed Kid, knocked out the Kid pirates with Conqueror's Haki, and also caused significant collateral damage. It is the single greatest Conqueror's Haki feat we've ever seen in a 1 vs 1. Sure, Garp's attack looks flashier and more devastating, but in pure practicality, Shanks' Divine Departure was not just more efficient, it was also much more deadly. The moment it landed, even Kid himself knew it was over. Next, we have the top 3 moments, and the third one is from when Luffy awakened his Devil Fruit. As Luffy regains his consciousness and starts stumbling around while transforming into Nika, his body exudes an extremely powerful and potent form of Conqueror's Haki. This Conqueror Haki materializes in the form of a singular Haki strike that reaches the heavens and splits the skies. Although we don't see it play out like this in the manga, I'd still consider the anime depiction of this scene canon, because in chapter 1044, the sky is cloudy while Luffy is still transforming, but after Luffy's transformation is complete, we see his shadow cast against the starry moon in a completely clear sky. There is no other way to go about it. Luffy's awakening released a Conqueror's Haki blast powerful enough to split the skies just by himself. It's among the most legendary battle shonen moments of all time. Moving on to the second greatest Conqueror Haki moment. We have the scene from Oden's flashback where Roger and Whitebeard engaged in a full-on Conqueror's Haki clash. Their clash was strong enough to not just split the clouds, but completely burst them. The shockwave generated from that clash blows back everything, including Whitebeard's Moby Dick. It has been almost 5 years since that chapter, and yet it is still the single greatest clash of conquerors in One Piece history, though I'd be lying if I said that the other clash of conquerors weren't at least in the same tier of hype. That's why, before moving on to the number 1 greatest Conqueror's Haki moment, how about we include Shanks clashing with Whitebeard and Luffy clashing with Kaido as honorable mentions. In chapter 434, Shanks meets Whitebeard, and the two of them clash their blades. The impact is strong enough to split the skies, and although we have no concept of advanced Conqueror's Haki back then, everyone knew that this was the peak, the Clash of Emperors. Though of course, I'd say that Luffy splitting the skies with Kaido is much more cathartic for the sole reason that it's our boy Luffy. We have been following his journey since day 1, and so seeing him stand on equal footing against an emperor in the most literal way possible was simply surreal. It's hard to describe the level of hype we all felt back when chapter 1026 came out. Now, we also have the clash between Kaido and Big Mom from chapter 951, but I'm sure everyone agrees that it's not in the same tier of hype and aura as Luffy and Kaido or Shanks and Whitebeard. It felt too normal for that level of greatness. Alright, with the 2 honorable mentions out of the way, let's talk about the number 1 moment. Remember how I told you guys that there's going to be a major spoiler coming up? Well, this is it. The top 1 absolute greatest Conqueror Haki moment in One Piece is a spoiler from chapter 1122. We're talking about Joyboy's fermented Haki from 800 years ago. In chapter 1122, right as Warcury, Zoro, and Peter are about to ravage Thousand Sunny and the Giant's ship, Emmett asks for Luffy's name and then thanks Luffy for letting him hear that nostalgic old rhythm again. He then unties the knot around his body, and we bear witness to a level of Conqueror Haki that easily surpasses anything and everything we had seen until this point. Unlike the Luffy awakening where only the anime showed us the sky splitting, in this case, the manga itself shows just one man's Haki splitting the skies. The Haki is felt all around Egghead and beyond. It immediately yeets the Gorosei back to their office, and it is overwhelming enough to make even characters as strong as Vice Admirals simply faint. It's so strong that Imu, the king of the world, is seen kneeling on the floor, shaking like a little worm. Even though Joyboy had been dead for 800 years, just a whiff of his fermented Haki is enough to completely reignite Imu's PTSD. In the next chapter, we see that all the Vice Admirals have fainted. There are no longer any Marines left to chase the Straw Hats. And of course, Dory and Broggy imply that this Haki was even stronger than Red Hair Shanks' Haki. Note that they didn't say anything like this when Warcury roared in chapter 1111. This means that although Warcury's Haki was impressive, it didn't make Dory and Broggy care enough that they compare it to Shanks' Haki. However, after experiencing Joyboy's Haki, they actually started wondering if it was even stronger than Shanks' Haki, which is, of course, a big deal. Overall, this is the greatest, most hype Conqueror Haki moment in One Piece yet. And you bet the anime is going to somehow make it look even more impressive when it is finally adapted in a couple of years. Now, I'm sure you guys have a lot to add to say about this moment as well. So let's continue the conversation in the comments section down below. What do you think about Joyboy's Conqueror's Haki? Will we see another character do something even more impressive in Elbaf? Come on guys, let's talk about it. Of course, also subscribe to our channel AJ Anime and hit the bell icon so that you are the first to know whenever I cook up something new and exciting. Well then, I'd say until next time guys, see ya!